Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. I hope you're all doing well. And this is going to be a bit of a strange video. It is resin related, but it's something that nobody really talks about, and I've been really busy with a lot of projects over the past few weeks. Nobody really talks about how to clean your molds and make sure that they're going to last as long as they can. So that's what this video is about, how to try and simplify cleaning the mess from lots of different projects. So if that's what you're interested in, let's get straight to it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. And I wanted to do something a little bit different today. Something that nobody ever talks about, but it is an issue, you know, especially if you're doing a few different projects at once. Nobody talks about the cleanup, and you can have some amazing results like these. I don't know if you've seen the previous videos, but I think he came out absolutely stunning, that seal with the Eco Pour. Again, reduced the resin by 50%, which was amazing. The skull, again, really came out cool. And then obviously these sort of chameleon bowls and stuff like that. But I've probably done, in the past couple of weeks, must be 10 different projects, and nobody talks about the cleanup. How to clean up your molds so that you can move on to the next project, you know. And I just want to talk about that to show you hopefully the simplest way that I've found. I don't like to wash molds with soapy water because it can scratch them and you can get resin down your sink, which you don't want. Trust me, you'll block your drains and that will cost you a fortune to fix. So I'm just going to show you hopefully how we can take this mess, which I'm going to show you in a second, to clean molds ready for the next go. And you'll see how big a mess I get into, and this is only over the course of a couple of weeks, so I'll show you. Look at all that. And do you know what, you can sit there and pick every little tiny piece off. That will take you forever. Or you can do the simple method, which I'm going to show you now. So you will need some sticky tape, and I'll show you now. We're going to be here a while, but I'm not going to force you to watch me clean every single mold before I put them away. One thing I will say, guys, is always have a bag of your spare bits of resin as well. Nothing ever needs to go to waste. You can either put it in bigger pieces, or if you get some nice pieces, you can reuse it, you know. I've reused these in UV jewelry and things like that. There's lots of different ways that you can reuse this dried resin from your drips or from your excess. And if you want to look back through the videos, I've done a couple of ways in which you can reuse your resin. So always keep it, you know, don't throw it, because if nothing else, if you put it into black resin, nobody's going to see it, but it means that you use less resin and you haven't wasted any. We all know it's expensive. But let's get straight to it, because I think I'm going to be doing this for a couple of hours today to get all of this clean. And look at that. Now, luckily with silicone, resin does come off quite easily. Now, I'm going to use this frog tape. You can use masking tape, you can use sellotape, whatever you happen to have. And I've just got a piece of cardboard from a delivery that I had from Amazon. So all I'm going to do is leave a tiny bit of edge on the end, and you'll see why in a second. And I'm going to try and wrap this frog tape around. Once you've done the first couple of lines as well, it gets easier because it secures to the piece. And all you're doing here is creating a sticky surface. You can use wood, you can use whatever you want. I just like to use cardboard because I've always got it in, and I always get deliveries. And I think most of us do, to be honest with you. And if you do it this way, it gives you two sides of stickiness. And what you'll find is once you've used it one side, the stickiness will go. And as you can see, I'm just wrapping it round. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. You're probably going to throw this in the bin afterwards. And I don't know why this frog tape, for me, I've been using it on the back of canvases and things like that when I've been doing my pouring, but I think because it's over a year old, it's lost some of that stickiness. But I just thought, again, I wanted to use it up. I don't like to waste anything on this channel, which you're probably starting to see. And again, it takes a little while just to completely cover it. But I'm doing this live as well, so you're not getting a sped up version. I'm just literally going around the whole piece of cardboard with this tape. And again, you can use sellotape, you can use brown packaging tape, whatever you've got to hand, what is cheap. Because again, you're probably going to be disposing of the tape, and it gets a valuable resource near Christmas. So there we go, pretty much there now. And I've got a new silicone mat as well, so that's another reason that's prompted me to clean up my whole workstation and get tidied up. Plus I want you guys to have a cleaner, more professional looking channel, rather than the chaos that is usually my workstation. There we go. So as you can see, it's not perfect, and that is just sticky tape. Now, here's the fun bit. I'm starting to move all of my resin projects to these silicone pots rather than the disposable cardboard ones, rather than these plastic ones, but I've got quite a few left, so you might still see them in a few projects. But there's two reasons for this. One, they're reusable, and two, they're just so easy to clean. So all I do, there you go, there's the piece of resin, and in fact I think that was UV resin that hasn't quite cured, so I am going to leave that to the side. I'm going to get a separate cup just to keep those UV bits in. If you look there, it's not fully cured, and I think that was a black one that I tried, so that could be why. So make sure you've got some wipes, or again use gloves when you're doing this, guys, especially if you've got any allergies to resin. So there we go, that is the main bulk of that out, as you can see. And now all I'm going to do is turn this cup inside out, like so, and do that. Now this one, as I say, it didn't fully cure because it was black UV resin. I think with this particular project, it was one where I mixed it too thick, and that's why it didn't cure. So again, I am going to have to do an extra step with this one. But as you can see, look, the resin is coming straight off that silicone pot onto my sticky mat that I've just created. And then all I'm going to do is, I've got some wipes. You can do this with alcohol, guys. I find you don't need to. So once you've got the resin off, all I do is give it a wipe around, and that is one pretty much done. Again, I want to just make sure there's no residue. So there we go. Most of it's come off on there, and that makes it so simple. So this is now ready for my next project. Turn it back the right way around, and voila, that is now ready to go. Now you might say, that's great for these small little pots. I'm going to show you another one actually where I'm confident it wasn't UV resin, just to show you how simple it is. Again, this is a gold one that I did. So again, any of these bigger bits you can just flake off, put them in your bag and use them in another project, especially if it's something like gold. You know, you don't want to waste that. And look at that, most of that's already just dropped off, which is amazing. So again, just to show you guys, you can rotate this around, you can do whatever you want just to try and keep the stickiness there. But again, look at that, and all I'm going to do is roll it around a few times, and it even gets all of that mica, that gold shimmer that's left in there off. Takes a little bit of effort just to make sure you get around the different stickiness of your pad. And you may have to do this a few times, guys. But again, it does come off. Like so. Now that's the resin off. That is actually stained by the mica. So again, giving it a quick wipe. You could use your alcohol at this point, but again, I don't. I just use these baby wipes at the side of me. Completely cleans it off. And that one, in the space of a minute, is ready for my next project. So 2 down, about 50 to go, guys. So we're getting through them, Now you might ask, what about my bigger moulds? That's okay for my mixing cups, that's okay for my little silicone pots and things like that. But what about bigger moulds that I've been working with? And again, it's pretty straightforward. It's the same sort of process. So what I tend to do with a bigger mould, and I'm going to use one that I used quite recently actually. Let's use the Let's Resin School one as an example. So there's not a lot on there, but there's still tiny bits of resin on it, which I don't want. So all I'm going to do is get my tape, wrap it around my hand so I've got a good layer of that stickiness, and then just go around it. The resin should adhere to the tape, he says, like so, and come off your silicone mould nice and easy. And if there's any bits on the inside, again, this is great for just going around the inside like so, and making sure I've not got any residue that could affect my next piece. And again, you'll find different tapes work better than others. I'm just using this frog tape because it's what I had to hand, but you can use, if you look there's a tiny bit there in the teeth. If I left that in there, and let's say I did a clear skull on the next mould, that would show up. And I'm just having a look around, tiny bit there. So again, use your sticky tape, move it around, and get any resin off. You know, it's as simple as that. For the sake of 2 or 3 minutes. Now, with the Let's Resin molds as well, one of the things I love is you get a box with each mold or a little packet to put them in. So now I've cleaned that mold, I've got its box, and I'm just giving it one last check over. And again, this is me being pedantic, but I don't like glitter and stuff on the outside of the mold or the inside. And it's the same process, guys. Just use your sticky tape, go around it like that, and that is clean, ready to go for next time. And in the box, dead straightforward, ready to go next time. Now you might say, Andy, that's all good and well. What about the slightly bigger molds? And again, it's exactly the same process. I use these big silicone ones for mixing. Turn it inside out, which you'll see, most of that automatically peels off. Look at that. And again, you can reuse these guys and make some really cool effects in your art. Remember the clear bits, if this was just clear resin, that will go crystal clear if you put it in clear resin. And it's almost like a resin paper, look. So there we go, we've made resin paper with UV resin just by leaving it in the cup. I've seen it done with UV resin, not with normal resin. So there we go, resin paper. Again, I'm going to put this in here because, do you know what? I think I might find a use for these in a future project. To me, that looks like coral, you know? And I'm just thinking outside of the box here, I could put some coloured UV resin on that and it would make an amazing coral seascape to have some seahorses up against or something like that. So be creative in using your spare resin. But back to this, and I promise you guys, I wanted this to be a short video, so I'm just going to show you on this bigger one as well. Still got plenty of stickiness left on this. There you go, the bag's sticking to it. And again, just working my way around. It is as simple as that. And all of that resin should come off onto my sticky surface like so. And sorry, I'm shaking the workstation a little bit. But as you can see, it's coming off nice and easy. And as I say, for me, you don't have to use the wipes and alcohol as well. I just like to make sure that every little bit of residue is off. And you know me, I mix my resins with silicone oils, with vinegar, with all sorts. So it's good to just give it this extra step of protection by giving it a wipe. So there's one of my big mixing jugs. With these, if I'm being honest, I'm not really fussed about the outside because they're just mixing cups. But again, you can just give that a wipe and there we go. All the resin's out and it's ready to go for next time. And for those of you that are determined to use the hot soapy water method, just remember a couple of things. One, do it in a separate bowl like this, not in your sink. Two, try not to scratch your molds. And just be gentle with them when you do it, you know. And then when you dispose of this water, guys, you want to make sure it's not going down your sink. As I say, resin is horrible stuff, and if you get it in your drains, trust me, it's going to cost you a fortune to fix. But again, this is the method that a lot of you use as well, so I just thought I'd show this as well, which again, it works really well. And all of that resin should now be on the bottom of that bowl. So just make sure when you dispose of this bowl, none of this stuff is going down your sink. Again, I know a lot of people use this method as well rather than the sticky tape, because to be honest, it is probably a little bit easier. But there is a risk that as you're pulling off the resin like this, and again, wear gloves, but as you're pulling it off, there's a risk that you can actually scratch your moulds, and that's why I wouldn't recommend doing this with anything that you're precious about, a mould that you've spent a lot of money on. But for these mixing cups, I suppose it's okay, because you're not really bothered at the end of the day if they get scratched. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And this is obviously the hot water method. Now, for those of you that think I'm being a little bit over dramatic about saying don't do it in your sink, that is after 5 of those little silicone cups. Look at that. That goes down your drains, blocks your drains, costs you a fortune in plumbing. So dispose of it safely, put it in a bin, dry it out on some kitchen roll and use it in another project, you know. So but don't pour it down your sinks. So I hope that's helped. Again, I'll just do a little bit more of a detailed mould as well to show you. So there's one, a teddy bear mould. Same process. Get yourself a little bit of tape and go around it. Hopefully it gets the glitter off as well, like so, and just move your tape around so you're getting the stickiest sides, like that. And that is now a couple of minutes, he says, pretty much ready to go for next time. And again, this isn't the stickiest of tapes. This is why I stopped using it, and even for this it's not working. So I'm just going to get you some sellotape. Here we go, standard packaging tape. You find it's a lot stickier. Wrap it round on itself or on your finger or whatever you want to use. There we go, that's a lot better straight away. And just getting all of that resin off the mould so it's ready for next time. And there we go, we've got a clean teddy bear mould. Now this one's slightly stained because I used alcohol inks directly in it, which can happen, guys, but it doesn't affect your next pour, so don't worry about it. But there we go, that little teddy bear has no resin left on him and he's ready for the next project. So there we go, I hope you found it useful. If you have, as always, like and subscribe to the channel. And I just want to take this opportunity as well to thank anybody that has joined membership. It makes such a big difference to me and the channel overall. We're now up to 3 members and I appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate everybody that is liking and subscribing and watching the content. Lots more coming in 2025. So again, just with regards to that membership, you do get extra perks like early access to every video. At the minute, I think they've got the members can watch about 6 extra videos because they get access before it goes public. So again, there's those perks. There's also perks where every member is going to go into a monthly prize draw to win a piece of my art, which will get sent out as well. So all you need to do is head to the channel, click on the icon and then click join. It's as simple as that. It helps the channel grow. And also in January, there's going to be a members only Discord for the channel as well, which only members will have access to. So it gives us a chance to vibe together and hopefully keep building that community. But once again, thanks to all the members. Thanks to everybody that watches these videos. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you guys on the next one.